You watch me. I'm gonna throw him out.
Yes.
Yes.
Throw him out.
Throw him out.
Get rid of him.
Get rid of him.
Now.
Now.
Don't! It'll be you next. Don't think we should do this.
Good idea. Professor, help me. I can't.
No, I'm not.
What's the matter? Are you? Come on.
Throw him out.
Come on.
Just do it. Throw him out.
Professor, help me.
Get him out.
Stop holding me up like that.
Cast him out into the darkness and the night.
Donna, where are you?
It's sort of hard to say. You alright?
Yeah, fighting fit, yeah. Is he with you, the doctor?
Oh, the doctor.
No. I'm all on my own.
Look, you promised he was going to look after you.
This is Security Protocol 712. Prepare for departure.
The TARDIS lands outside the Noble family home. Wilf enters the TARDIS, seeing his granddaughter with tears in her eyes. He lets out a sigh of sadness as the two run into each other's arms. The two talk, Donna catching up her granddad on the events leading to the Doctor's death. Wilf hugged Donna and smiled. "We'll get through this, sweetheart. I know you will." Donna couldn't help but smile back. "Come on, your mum's got tea," he said as he took her hand, which was still wet from wiping tears. Suddenly, the TARDIS doors slammed shut. The lights turned red and Donna ran to the scanner. The whole TARDIS shook, and the pair looked at each other as the light coming from outside the windows vanished. Donna looked panicked. She wiped away her tears and quickly kicked into action, opening doors and staring out into the deep, dark void of space. Back on Earth, Torchwood, Unit and the crew in Ealing, along with the rest of the human race, naturally started to panic. With calls to the Doctor failing and friends returning, the events for the end of the universe are set in motion.
I'm receiving a communication from the Earthbound ships. They have a message for the human race.
Put it through. Let's hear it.
Now the Daleks are the masters of Earth.
The events of the Dalek invasion of Earth then continue as normal.
Wait a minute. We boost the signal, that's it. We transmit that telephone number through Torchwood itself using all the power of the rift.
And we've got Mr. Smith. He can link up with every telephone exchange on the Earth. He can get the whole world to call the same number all at the same time.
Billions of phones calling out all at once.
Brilliant. Who's the kid?
It's my son.
Excuse me, sorry, hello, Yanto Jones. If we start transmitting, then the subwave network is going to become visible. I mean, to the Daleks.
Yes, and they'll trace it back to me, but my life doesn't matter. Not if it saves the Earth.
Mum.
Thank you, Captain. But there are people out there dying, on the streets.
Marvellous woman. I voted for her.
Did not. Now, enough of words. Let's begin.
Rip power activated.
On terminus coordinated.
That's not grid online. Give you everything we've got.
Connecting you to Mr. Snip. Telephone networks combined.
Sending you the number now.
Subway. Mr. Snip. Make that call.
Calling the doctor.
However, this time, when the phone rings, Donna and Wilf haven't a clue about what to do. Donna panics once again, thinking and telling herself she isn't good enough, but Wilf calms her, reminding her who she is, what she's done, and asking, what would the doctor do? Donna begins ripping out wires from the TARDIS console, asking her granddad to do the same. Maybe if she can connect it to the TARDIS and the machine can figure out the rest. It is alive after all. The pair connect it up to every part of the console imaginable. One phone, hundreds of wires, linked to it all over the TARDIS. Donna prepares her granddad and she pulls the lever. The TARDIS lights kick into gear and the great blue box begins to travel 1 second through time. Materializing on the streets of Earth, the TARDIS arrives. Rose sees the TARDIS and runs. However, as an unholy angel creeps around the corner, the universe once again has different ideas for the timeline, and the Dalek fires, hitting Rose, whose lifeless body falls to the ground. Harkness teleports in and blasts the rust bucket sky high. Picking up her dead body over his shoulder, he runs with her into the TARDIS. Meeting Donna for the first time, he explains who he is. Naturally, she questions him, but he begins pointing out directions for every room in the TARDIS, proving he has at least been inside before. Believing Jack to be who he says he is, the trio talk and Wilf puts a coat over Rose's face. Jack learns of the death of the Doctor and informs Donna about the Daleks, also explaining how deadly they are. The Daleks locate the TARDIS and it is taken on board the Crucible. Jack, Donna and Wilf exit the TARDIS and the Daleks question the whereabouts of the Doctor. This is where Donna steps up. She takes the mantle of the Doctor, becoming the prophesized Dr. Donna. The Daleks rightfully question her lack of an extra heart, but as always she has an answer for everything. The TARDIS is then sent down to the core of the Crucible, destroying the insides, ripping it apart. However, this time, the regeneration of the hand latches onto Rose Tyler, bringing her back to life and birthing a new Meta-Crisis Doctor, one this time much less sassy and instead far more emotional. The episode then concludes as usual, with the Daleks being defeated at the hands of the Dr. Rose and the Meta-Crisis Doctor. As the Doctor drops off everyone to their families and homes, eventually the TARDIS is left with the Doctor, Donna and Rose. Rose decided to stay with the Doctor and Jackie this time obliges. The Doctor and Donna talk, and she is overwhelmed with happiness but doesn't know if she can face such sadness and peril again. However, the Doctor convinces her to stay, and the three head off into the universe together, fighting foes and causing trouble. But not too long after, the Doctor finds himself up against the Master. The episode, The End of Time, continues more or less the same, and obviously with no Wilf, who goes into the radiation cage? Donna. The Doctor knows not to because of the radiation, as does the Dr. Rose. And by the way, the reason Rose isn't overwhelming like Donna did with her mind is because this isn't a fresh batch of regeneration energy like in the original timeline, but it is just enough to birth a meta-crisis. Now we can either go two ways. Rose saves Donna killing Rose, or the Doctor saves Donna killing him. The one we're going to go with is the Doctor. He absorbs the radiation and then heads back to the TARDIS alone after saying all his goodbyes. He wants to die on his terms, in his TARDIS. As the Doctor takes his last breath, he collapses to the floor and mutters the words,
I don't want to go.
His eyes shut, the TARDIS lights dim once more as the Doctor dies. But then, it happens. The TARDIS lights begin to shine, brighter than ever before. The Doctor gasps. The heart of the TARDIS opens, opening a gateway in time, linking the Doctor here to the actual Doctor in his final moments in Midnight. The two switch places in a flash, and the actual Doctor returns in the TARDIS. But the energy of the heart of the TARDIS is still too much for him. His hands begin to glow, the heart of the TARDIS opens, then...
I don't want to go.
And the timeline is restored. So there we have it. I think I kept it as real as possible. The ending did get a little more fanfiction-y, but remember, the Doctor would always come back somehow, and keeping in mind of course that a new showrunner and new writing team was taking over, this probably would have been the most realistic way, as it means everything can continue on as normal. Sure, Rose is out there, but we don't see Donna till the 60th, so maybe we wouldn't see Rose till then either. Please do leave suggestions below, as I'm going to be doing these near weekly. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye bye.
It's ready. I really want to think about this. Because if I activate the signal, every living creature dies. Hello, the Doctor, the great exterminator.
I'll do it!
Then prove yourself, Doctor. What are you, coward or killer?
On Mars, I'm gonna kill you.
Come on, let's get it! It's a chance! Come on, son!
Directly following the events where in this timeline, Rose never returned for the Doctor, and he detonated the Delta Wave. The Tyler family and of course Mickey spent several weeks in the TARDIS, helping Rose through her grief and through her ability to get the TARDIS working again. Eventually the TARDIS responds and the Protocol 1 lock is broken. Rose travels with Mickey back to the future to find the Earth crisp to the core on one side and the Delta Wave reduced to atoms. Inconsolable, Rose attempts to return the TARDIS to Earth, but instead arrives in Scotland, 1879, where the pair encounter Queen Victoria and the werewolf. Putting an end to the troubles but causing the creation of the Torchwood Institute, the two finally make it back to present-day Earth, specifically December 24th. As Jackie runs to the sound of the TARDIS, Mickey and Rose exit, telling her of the death of the Doctor. However, Rose's mourning is cut short when the human race makes first contact. As events unfold, the three seek shelter in the TARDIS from the upcoming Sycorax apocalypse. However, Jackie leaves to get more food, and the ship transports the TARDIS on board. On board the alien vessel, Rose and Mickey meet Prime Minister and part unit/Torchwood commander Harriet Jones. She introduces herself, but they know who she is. After learning of the death of the Doctor, Harriet orders her assistant to tell Torchwood to do it. Torchwood rushes to prepare and activates their alien weapons, blasting the Sycorax ship out of the sky. Committing genocide. Luckily, Harriet, Mickey and Rose all survived after escaping into the TARDIS, which could withstand the Torchwood weaponry. On the ground, Rose is angered by Harriet, telling her there should have been another way. The Doctor would have found another way. A small argument ensues, but nothing comes of it, except for now, Rose learns of the mysterious Torchwood. Some months later, Mickey picks up leads on a school. Rose sneaks in as a dinner lady, where she encounters Sarah Jane Smith, friend of the Doctor's. The two talk and discuss his passing, with Sarah and Rose agreeing to stick together and defend the human race. Using K9, they hatch a plan and the Krillitane are quickly put to rest. Rose leaves with Sarah Jane and K9, and the trio head to Ealing. Forming Genius Computer in the wall Mr. Smith and integrating him into the TARDIS, allowing them to more accurately pilot, the two begin a deepened investigation into the Torchwood Institute. We can go two ways here. One where the events in the past don't happen, such as the wire never coming to Earth or the clockwork droids, or another where Mr. Smith can detect timeline shifts, telling the pair where to go. Either way, it doesn't really matter, so it's up to you which you choose. The events of Love and Monsters take a different turn as all of the crew are absorbed, but the Absorbaloff is then quickly exterminated by Torchwood. As the ghosts arrive, Sarah and Rose have all leads pointing towards Canary Wharf, but walking up to the front door won't do them any good, not this time. Rose and her mother head to the TARDIS and plan to impersonate the Doctor, while Sarah Jane will sneak off board the TARDIS at a later time, hiding in another room. As the TARDIS lands and Rose steps out, she is welcomed by leader Yvonne Hartman. As Rose impersonates the Doctor, Jackie acting as her companion, and Mickey as an undercover employee of the company, they make their way through the building. The TARDIS is then secured, and Sarah makes her late exit. As Rose convinces Yvonne to stop the ghost shift, knowing the energy is not from this universe thanks to Mr. Smith, Yvonne is contacted in the lower levels, as an intruder with a psychic paper and a sonic lipstick claiming to be the Doctor is caught near the void ship. But before questions can be answered, the ghost shift is reactivated and the void ship radiates energy. As the Cybermen come through in the upper levels, down below the Daleks too reveal themselves, and naturally Sarah knew what and who they were. Managing to stay alive with her clear knowledge of them and the fact she radiated Arctron energy, her and Mickey survived, but the Torchwood scientist was exterminated and drained of brainwaves. Upstairs, the Cybermen began their invasion, and Rose made a call to Harriet. As unit troops stormed the top floor of the building, Rose, Jackie and Yvonne were safe. Units shared their intelligence on the Cybermen with Torchwood, when suddenly Rose got a call. Learning of the Daleks downstairs, Yvonne contacted the Cyber leader. Unit, Torchwood and the Cybermen then briefly joined forces and launched an attack on the Daleks. Rose and Jackie met up with an escaping Mickey and Sarah and then made it back to the top floor. Mr. Smith explained to the group that opening the gate will ensure all the Daleks and Cybermen are taken back through. This is done, and the day is saved and the monsters are defeated, with Unit, Torchwood, Rose and Sarah now all working much closer together. The Earth was far better defended, with Torchwood and Unit easily taking care of the Arachnos and Sarah investigating strange electrical impulses at a hospital in London. However, with no alien blood to assimilate, the Jadoon failed their mission to locate their lost targets, and the hospital returned to Earth, but with everyone, including Sarah Jane, dead.
And there were these creatures, like rhinos, talking rhinos in black leather.
Rhinos? Rhinos could be aliens.
There were hundreds of them. We couldn't breathe. We were running out of air. A colleague of mine gave me the last oxygen tank, Martha Jones, and she died. This woman who took control said she knew what to do, said she could stop the MRI or something. Sarah Jane, her name was. Sarah Jane Smith.
Sarah Jane Smith was a freelance investigative journalist, formerly of Metropolitan magazine. Her body was recovered from the hospital late this afternoon.
Mourning the loss of a friend and ally, the group continued to defend the Earth. Remember, in this timeline, the Master would have never been reborn, meaning several events wouldn't be happening, and the Daleks invading the past also wouldn't have happened, as I believe the crew would have been able to act much faster in Doomsday, meaning the cult of Skaro wouldn't have managed to temporal shift into the past. With the Angels being taken care of and the Titanic event stopped much earlier thanks to Torchwood, the world kept on turning. The Adipose were made quick work of thanks to Yvonne, and month by month, year by year, the Earth continued spinning round with no Doctor. So much wouldn't happen. With no Cult of Skaro, there'd be no series 4 finale. With no Doctor, there would be no Big Bang. You could even go as far as to say perhaps the Earth would have been better off if the Doctor died in parting of the ways. Countless invasions wouldn't have happened, and so many more people left alive. All of Series 6 would cease to exist, as would most of Season 7. However, the 50th anniversary is where things would begin to change. With the world under threat of a Zygon invasion, and both sides still remembering who is who, a nuclear warhead would detonate under London, destroying all of Unit Torchwood, killing Rose, Jackie, Mickey, Mr. Smith, and even poor K9. And just like that, everyone would be dead.
There's a nuclear warhead 20 feet beneath us. Are you sitting comfortably? You would destroy London to save the world? Yes, I would. You're bluffing. You really think so? Somewhere in your memory is a man called Brigadier Alistair Gordon Lethbridge Stewart. One word from you would cancel the countdown. Quite so. It's key to your voice print. And mine alone. Not anymore. Cancel the detonation. Countermand it! Cancel the detonation! Countermand it!
So, not a happy ending for this one. I could do some wibbly wobbly thing here, where the War Doctor goes back to warn or save 9, but that just feels a little bit too far-fetched and fan-fiction-y. I can start writing these like that if you want, so just let me know. Make sure to leave suggestions down below and vote in the pinned comment for what you want to see next. Thanks, and goodbye.
I don't want to... What? Legs! I've still got legs! Good. What? Arms. Hands.
The two doctors look at each other. 11 starts the conversation. When I said I didn't want to go, I didn't quite expect this. But how is this even by regeneration? But that's a myth. Yes, well, I rather thought it was too, but hey ho, here we are. Well, where do we go from here? Well, I don't know, but this is my TARDIS. Oh no, now hold on. Suddenly, the TARDIS sparks, shakes and crashes. The two doctors kick into gear, holding onto the TARDIS console. 10 is sent flying across the room. 11 grabs a scanner and laughs at the idea of crashing. The coral pillars begin to collapse, and the Doctor picks up a hand-sized chunk of the TARDIS. Holding it, he speaks. "What have you done to my TARDIS? Our TARDIS?" The TARDIS crashes more and more until the two doctors lose total control and the box heads towards Earth. Crashing in Amelia Bond's garden, the two doctors exit, talking with her about the crack as 11 finds his feet, the cloister bell rings and 11 dives into the TARDIS. The box takes off, leaving 10 stranded on Earth with Amy. This wasn't by any means intentional, but the TARDIS was acting very erratic, and just took off as soon as 11 entered. Over the years, the 10th Doctor quickly got to the mystery of the Prisoner Zero and put an end to it. Many years later, eventually the 11th Doctor did return, where he once again encountered the 10th Doctor, who by this time had built and grown his own TARDIS. We know from the deleted scene in Journey's End that throwing a chunk of the TARDIS can lead to building or growing a new one, and with Russell himself stating that it's canon, who's to argue with the boss? With the Doctors agreeing to split and go their separate ways, albeit without an Amy Pond in the picture, the two Time Lords head off into the universe. The timeline changes here as the 11th Doctor heads to the Star Whale, resulting in him killing it brain dead, as he no longer had Amy to stop him. This ultimately doesn't show this Doctor where the line is or teach him a valuable lesson, setting him on a darker path. As Churchill phones the TARDIS, both phones ring and the two Doctors arrive. Both are considerably angry at the survival of the Daleks, but with 11 being fueled just that bit more by hatred and anger. With one Doctor on the ship and the other on the ground, their pair managed to both defeat the Daleks for good, blowing up the Paradigm ship and also stopping Bracewell from detonating. With 10 seeing there's a darker side to his later incarnation, he makes a note to check up from time to time, even if in secret, and they both part ways, heading off into the universe. We know that the Doctors do love to keep score, so it's not too long after this that both incarnations meet again in the museum, leading to the events of the Angel story. The events wrap up much faster, and River notices several inconsistencies in her book. After all, the timeline shifted dramatically as the Doctor bi-regenerated. With the 10th Doctor sharing info on 11 becoming darker, 10 and River agree to keep an eye. But River's worries are much bigger than that, as if Amy and Rory don't travel with the Doctor, then how is she ever born? But with the 11th Doctor committing genocide in Venice and the 10th Doctor facing the Dream Lord, the 10th Doctor then gets a call from Amy Pond in the year 2020, when she became trapped under a dome with Rory in a Silurian incursion. As the 10th Doctor, Amy and Rory stop the Silurians, Rory is swallowed up into the crack in time. Amy forgets and the Doctor realises what he has done, but with enough time apart from Donna, he is in a much better place, and 10 and Amy head for the stars. Their adventures take them to Vincent van Gogh, James Gordon and eventually the Pandorica, where events play out near identically. With Rory's return, the only change is not only needing a vortex manipulator, as there happens to be another TARDIS still around. With the universe saved, the two Doctors part ways once more. 10, Amy and Rory and River take on the Silence, Pirates, Uncle, the Rebel Fresh and Madame Gavorian. They meet Hitler, toy dolls and weird robots offering kindness. With the companion switch leaving 11 alone, his loneliness fuels his darker path even more. 10 continues travelling, facing his darkest fears and taking on the Cybermen. But eventually time catches up with the Doctor on Lake Silencio, and the 10th Doctor is seemingly killed. With the universe collapsing, a TARDIS naturally doesn't work, meaning the events of the Wedding of River Song play out literally exactly the same, just with 10 instead. With the Daleks no longer existing thanks to their total extermination, the events of the Asylum don't happen. So the 10th Doctor, Amy and Rory take on dinosaurs, they head to the Great Wild West and then even take on cubes and the Weeping Angels. The 10th Doctor is grief-ridden from losing the bonds, and from it being his Doctor who saved Vastra, he heads to Victorian London. He there encounters Clara, who he meets, and obviously then meets her end in the same story. As 10 continues to sulk, it's up to the 11th Doctor to save the day in the Bells of St. John. He simply cuts off the programming, killing all those who have been uploaded, but in the process meets Clara Oswald, who begs the Doctor to let her see the stars. With something deep inside of him knowing he needs someone, he agrees and the two head for the stars, but the 11th Doctor is still on his darker path. He destroys the Great Sun, helps kill Grand Marshal Skulzak and the two aliens and hide. The Crimson Horror is where things now again take a change. With the 10th Doctor still sulking in Victorian London, after all we know he took his companion loss much harder than any other Doctor. The two Doctors finally meet after all this time. This is where 10 notices notices how dark 11 has truly become, and obviously sees Clara, but I think that would eventually sort itself out, and they'd kind of realise what's going on there. Adventure after adventure continues, and we have a rather funny day of the Doctor, with 2 10s, War, and a bioregenerated 11. But the time of the Doctor is where everything changes. With his anger at an all-time high, his loneliness still impacting him, even if being with Clara, the 11th Doctor opens the crack in time with his name, and the Time War 2 begins. With all-out war breaking out on Trenzalore and everyone firing on the planet is eventually, and honestly pretty quickly, obliterated, and the 11th Doctor loses his only friend he ever had, Clara. But now, he is the Doctor no more, and is instead the Valeyard. With the Time War 2 obviously actually seeking a quick end thanks to the planet's total annihilation, the Valeyard heads off with the 10th Doctor chasing after him. The robots in deep breath, the Veil kills. He kills the Dalek. It's the 10th Doctor who luckily encounters Robin Hood, so he survives. 10 saves Cole Hill from the Skullvox Blitzer, and 11 kills the Moon. 10 saves the day on the Orient Express, and 11 slaughters the Boneless. The trees resolve themselves, and then it changes even more. In the Series 8 finale, the 11th Doctor accepts Missy's army, and the two wage war. The Daleks and Skaro are killed. The base under the lake blown up, the Maya killed, the Zygons who begin a rebel attack all killed. With the Valeyard, Missy and the Cybermen raging war across the universe, the 10th Doctor needs to stop him, but there is only one way he can. The 10th Doctor has to die. If he dies, then the bioregeneration reconnects and the timeline will resync. When he eventually finds the trap street, he takes his opportunity and the Raven comes for the Doctor, killing 10. The timelines resync and the pair are now both back in the TARDIS. The bioregeneration now doesn't happen and the 10th Doctor regenerates into 11.
I don't want to go.
We know that the 10th Doctor greatly healed over his time in this timeline, healing from the pain of Donna and so much more. We know that 14 healed, which is why 15 is able to move on. So who knows, but maybe this is what actually happened, and it's why 11 so quickly moves on from the events of Series 4. I know nothing much changes in the total end of this one, as it's not going to. As we know, with 14 and 15 always ending back on the helipad to cancel out the bi-regen, 10 and 11 would also end up back in the TARDIS. But still, it's definitely interesting to see what would happen, so maybe we can do this with some other Doctors. Anyway, thanks for watching, please leave suggestions, and see you later.
Well,
what?
he asked you a question. Will you help me?
You shouldn't have been listening.
I was, and I didn't need to. That was me talking. You can't see me, can you? You look at me and you can't see me. Have you any idea what that's like? I'm not on the phone, I'm right here. Standing in front of you. Please, just see me.
You go away, okay? You go a long way away.
Clara leaves the Doctor, unable to deal with the loss of her Doctor. He heads off into the universe, heartbroken and deeply angry. But the anger isn't at the Daleks nor the droids, but instead himself. Why did he choose this face? Why this face? Angered and internally tormented, the timeline shifts, taking us into darkness. With the Doctor fed up, he fails to even try to save Blue, the pilot facing the Dalek War, meaning the events of Into the Dalek never happened. Dealing with the events of the robot of Sherwood just in much quicker time, the Doctor eventually finds himself back at Coal Hill School. Meeting Clara once again, her sadness towards him turns to anger. Why is he still trying? Just leave her alone. The Doctor is deeply hurt by this. Eventually the day is saved and Clara and the Doctor once again part ways, now with a greater distaste for one another. Kill the Moon again happens much faster and the Doctor kills the Moon. As the Moon is obliterated, the Doctor finds himself caught in a fight against the Boneless. However, with no Clara to help save the day, and Missy's plans in jeopardy, after all, if the Doctor dies here, she can never try to win her best friend back. She activates a squad of Cybermen and they attack and defeat the Boneless, with Missy using a device of her own making to restore the blue box. The 12th Doctor is rightfully confused. Where did the Cybermen come from? Why did they help him? And who created the device which restored the TARDIS? With the Doctor on the scent of the Cybermen and Missy, he does what he can, but there are no leads. Attempting to use the telepathic circuits thinking of the Cybermen, the TARDIS takes off, but when the Doctor's phone rings and the TARDIS plays a cry for help from Clara about her lover Danny Pink, the telepathic circuits are altered and the TARDIS lands at 3W. With the episode playing out nearly identical with the exception of no Clara, the Doctor eventually reaches the streets of London where he is reunited with his old friend, the Master. UNIT arrives and detain the two Time Lords, and the Cybermen obviously eventually fly to the skies. On board the presidential plane, events play out literally the same. The main change here is towards the end of the episode, where Missy offers the Doctor to join him. Over the course of Series 8, the Doctor deeply ponders if he is a good man, and through the events of Into the Dalek, Robot of Sherwood, Flatline and so much more, he sees who he truly is. But this time, with events not happening and others altered, the Doctor reaches a different conclusion. His companion left him. His companion hates him. So no, he isn't a good man. The Doctor accepts Missy's proposal and the two head off in his TARDIS to save the day across the cosmos. The Doctor, fueled by a deep passion to become good once more and save as many lives as he can through any means necessary. At one point, however, the Doctor and Clara do wake up together, with the events of last Christmas still occurring. Something within the Doctor starts to shift. As him and Clara talk and the Doctor's darker tendencies are challenged by both Clara and Santa, something deep within him changes. However, the group wakes up and the Doctor doesn't even go back for Clara. As Davros hunts for the Doctor and Missy arrive with the Cybermen to conquer Skaro. This is done and the Daleks are defeated once and for all. In Under the Lake and Before the Flood, the base is destroyed, with the threat of humanity's destruction being too high. The Maya are defeated and the Zygon Rebellion is stopped thanks again to the Doctor, the Missy, and their cyber army. However, now Unit 2 start to see the darker side to the Doctor, knowing where this could one day lead, especially with Missy whispering in his ear, tempting him to the dark side more and more every day. Unit begins recruiting old companions and allies of the Doctor. With the trap street located, the Cybermen arrive and make easy work of the aliens. Heaven Sent and Hellbent don't happen, and neither do the events of River Song or Dr. Mysterio. The puddle creatures are located and destroyed, and the smile droids are too. The monster under the Thames killed, and the wooden house destroyed. The monks don't happen, and we eventually arrive at World Enough and Time. As the Doctor and Missy arrive with a handful of Cybermen, they take control of the top deck and head downstairs. Arriving, they are met with Mondasian Cybermen alongside, of course, Harold Saxon, who also takes a different approach. Seeing the darker side of the Doctor, but still deeply displeased, because after all he will never stand with the Doctor. And remember, at the heart of all this, the Doctor still does what he does to save the day. As the events play out similar, but however, obviously two cyber armies now go head to head alongside the Doctor, the Master and Missy having their own personal challenges. Eventually the day is saved and the Master escapes, but not before he kills Missy. This is where the Doctor becomes infuriated. Reaching inside the pocket of his dead best friend, he finds his confession dial. It opens and he is taken in. Ending up on Gallifrey, the Doctor becomes the High President and has Missy revived. But something itches deep inside him. As the Doctor's good becomes more distant from his surface bad side, his consciousness soon begins to split. And as Missy uses the cyber army to attack Gallifrey, seeing a chance to rule over time herself, she goes head to head up against the Doctor, who at this point is also fairly evil and twisted with his Time Lord army. As the Time War 2 commences at the end of the universe, just this time not between the Daleks and instead between the Time Lords and the Cybermen, eventually the Doctor wins. However, since he joined Missy, as we know, he has become more and more twisted, and having the woman he just revived turn on him too pushed him over the edge. All of that, paired by a second Time War, turned this Doctor utterly and totally nasty. No one should have to go through what he has, and that's why he vows to re-enter the universe with his Time Lord army and wage war, becoming ruler of time and space. With the Doctor severely weakened from the war, before becoming the ultimate ruler, he needs a new body. Having the Sisters of Khan brought to him on Gallifrey, they hand him a potion to make him regenerate. Remember, we mentioned how his consciousness was beginning to split. Well, as the Doctor completely decides to follow his darker side, the split snaps. A bioregeneration occurs, one Doctor being 12, the Doctor's darkened, twisted version, and the other being 13, full of all the good of the Doctor. In the panic and confusion of what's happened, she manages to escape the High Council and steals a TARDIS. Knowing the sheer danger heading for the universe, she heads to Earth. Frantically remembering Clara, she saves her and heads to UNIT, which by this point has been arming itself up to the teeth in preparation of the Doctor turning evil. UNIT has also now got several more allies of the Doctor working for them: Jo Jones, Ace, Tegan, Luke, and so many more. With the 13th Doctor filling them in, she knows the twos are linked and he will come for her, knowing she is the only one who could ever stop him. The group plan a trap and 12 arrives alongside his Time Lord soldiers. They begin an occupation of Earth, with UNIT defending London at all costs. However, London falls and 12 and the Time Lords storm into the Black Archive, but they find it empty. Where is 13? Where is all the tech? The door seals and 12 is locked inside. No TARDIS can come to rescue him. TARDIS proof, remember, she says, as 13 steps out of the shadows. He tells her she has minutes before the rest of his army arrive. She says all she needs is 5. Using her sonic, the nuclear detonation countdown begins, and she tells him she doesn't want to do this, but she knows she has to. She learned that from him. He can either use the gun on the desk, a gun in 3 parts, able to kill a Time Lord stone dead, and he will then resync with her, or let the bomb go off, only to resync anyway. 12 gloats, saying he'll let it go off, that way she can resync, knowing in herself she killed millions. Even if that timeline will cease to exist, she'll know she did it. 13 smiles. Heh, no I won't. She points her sonic to the mind wipe of the Black Archive and activates it. Before 12 can even shout no, the bomb detonates and the 12th Doctor dies. As the bioregeneration resyncs, we are back on Gallifrey. 12's regeneration takes place as it should, and he becomes 13. With the Doctor's good consciousness back in the driving seat, she stands down her army on Gallifrey, but knowing the dark tendencies still exist within her and not trusting this war-fueled Gallifrey society, she stays president and aims to change the whole Time Lord society for the better, before then returning to the universe. But what happens when she finds out about the truth of her origins? What happens when she finds out that the Master is still alive? And how does she react learning about how the Daleks have returned on Earth en masse? With the dark side of the Doctor still existing within her, alongside a Time Lord army and all of this happening, who knows what will happen next? So there we have it. This one went a little bit more fan-fiction-y than the others, but that's because a few of you did ask for that, so I hope you enjoyed. By the way, we will have a What If video out every Tuesday. Not necessarily every Saturday, but there will still be a video every Saturday. That might be a theory, that maybe might be a review or a podcast. So videos every Tuesday and Saturday, but every Tuesday will definitely be a What If, unless I'm ill or something, and I put it up on the community tab or the Discord, so join below. And subscribe, please, and like if you enjoy this, and obviously I'll be making more, so please do all of those if you really like these, because I know that you do like these, so please just support me a little bit more. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye bye.
Before I go, I just want to tell you, you were fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And you know what? So was I.
But turn that down. Turn it off, Steve-O, turn it off. Shut up.
Rose!
Jackie, it's the time.
I know, I heard it. She's alive, Mickey. I said so, didn't I? She's alive.
Just shut up a minute.
Well, where is it then?
Here we are then. London, Earth, the solar system, isn't it? Jackie, Mickey, blimey, no, hold on. We're there, what was I going to say? There was something I had to tell you, something important, what was it? No, hold on. Oh, I know! Merry Christmas!
The Doctors work together to take down the mighty Sycorax, dealing with the issue at hand much faster than the original episode. Torchwood doesn't ready their weapon in time, and Harriet Jones remains in office. Returning to the TARDIS, the two Doctors discuss where they can go from here. They can't split, that wouldn't be fair, so they agree to stick together.
I've got everything, don't worry. Be careful. You'll have to call Mo about that. Oh, never mind, Mo. Okay, I'm going now. I love you. Love you. Love you. Love
you. Love you.
Bye.
So where are we going?
Further than we've ever gone before.
The two doctors and Rose then head off into the universe, but with Rose sticking much closer to Nine's side rather than 10's. After all, he was who she wanted. We know that from when she asked him if he could change back, and it was just obvious. As the adventures of Series 1 all take place relatively normal, we eventually arrive in Pete's world. This is where we make our first real change. As Mickey leaves the TARDIS feeling like a third wheel and knowing the good he could do in the parallel world, the 10th Doctor also leaves the TARDIS team and stays in Pete's world with Mickey. Series 2 continues and the 9th Doctor and Rose continue saving the day, travelling both past, future and present. Back in Pete's world, the Doctor and team take care of the Cybermen en masse. With the Doctor's advanced knowledge this time around, the Cybermen completely are taken care of, and the creatures never even attempt to enter another universe as they are quite literally all gone. As the Doctor takes Rose home to Mother Jackie, the 9th Doctor, never being as family orientated as 10, heads off in the TARDIS for a solo adventure. But being spotted by Torchwood, the TARDIS quickly arrives at the Institute. Where 9 talks with Yvonne. Looking around the facility, he encounters the Void Ship. Continuing on round the facility, the Void Ship activates and opens, revealing the cult of Skaro.
Case on Earth! Life forms detected! Exterminate! 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 Exterminate!
With the 9th Doctor down in the chamber with the Daleks and Yvonne upstairs, she orders the Torchwood soldiers to use the alien tech and get the Doctor out of there. Reaching the room, the 9th Doctor makes his exit, but knowing the Daleks will do anything and everything possible to open the Ark, he struggles to think of options to save the day. Understanding these Daleks are clever and more deadly than any other, he knows they need to be destroyed. With the Doctor knowing Torchwood alone can't handle the battle, he contacts Harriet Jones, and UNIT arrives at Torchwood Tower. With Rose being summoned as part of an old UNIT protocol, Rose and the Doctor watch as the battle for the ages throughout the Torchwood hub occurs. Battling both UNIT and Torchwood, the cult of Skaro make their way up the building. Hoping to use the energy of the bridge to open the Ark, the Daleks do eventually reach the top floor and exterminate all UNIT and Torchwood troops. This includes Yvonne Hartman, because obviously she was there in Torchwood, but not Harriet Jones, because she herself obviously didn't go to the battle, and she's Prime Minister after all. With the Doctor facing off against the cult of Skaro, he uses the screwdriver and opens the bridge. As it begins to pull through the cult of Skaro, they emergency temporal shift, but not before firing at the bridge mechanics, locking it at an open state. As the Doctor and Rose hang on for their lives, eventually Rose falls into the void dead. With the 9th Doctor grief-struck beyond belief, he heads back to the TARDIS, where eventually he meets runaway bride, Donna Noble. Series 3 and 4 take place the same, just with 9 and Martha and 10 and Donna. This means 9 would meet Jack and so much more. As the events of Turn Left occur, the 10th Doctor replaces Rose and eventually returns to the universe to warn the 9th Doctor of the incoming reality disaster. As 9 and Donna meet the Shadow Proclamation, the invasion on Earth begins.
I'm receiving a communication from the Earthbound ships. They have a message for the human race.
Put it through. Let's hear it.
Exterminate! 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 Exterminate!
What is it? Who are they? Do you know them, Jack?
There's nothing I can do. I'm sorry. You're dead.
He was so young.
Dalek fleet in battle formation. All systems locked and primed. Crucible at 90% efficiency. The human harvest will commence.
Final sentence! Dealing with declaring ultimate code red. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at war.
But with the Doctor now on Earth, things take a different turn. With the Daleks finding Time Lord origins, the 10th Doctor is captured and taken on board the Crucible. Events now begin and the Daleks' plan fast forwards. But as Davros prepares to detonate the reality bomb in front of the 10th Doctor, the Daleks intercept a subwave network. Learning of the two Doctors, the 10th Doctor tells Nine to get out of there, hoping that Davros won't trace the TARDIS and then stop them too. The TARDIS lands on Earth and out steps Nine, as he sees Mickey in the distance. Running towards him, the 9th Doctor fails to see the Dalek and is exterminated. Now, normally with 9 dead, the bioregeneration would resync, but that's boring, so this time round we're going to instead continue. As Jack arrives, Donna, Mickey and Jack, naturally run to the TARDIS holding the Doctor's dead body. Jack, noticing no sign of regeneration, asks what's happening. Mickey explains to Jack that the bioregeneration occurred and asks where Rose is. This is where Jack tells him that she was on the list of the dead from an attack in Canary Wharf. Donna is as upset as Jack is, but Jack kicks into gear and knows that they need the other Doctor. The Daleks take the TARDIS on board the Crucible, and everyone except Nine steps out of the box. With the TARDIS being sent to the heart of the Crucible, Davros continues his plan.
Final prophecy is in place. The Doctor and his children all gathered as witnesses. Supreme Dalek, the time has come. Now, detonate the reality bomb! Activate planetary alignment field! Universal reality detonation in 200 rolls.
You can't, Davros! Just listen to me! Just stop!
Nothing can stop the detonation! Nothing can go on! Detonation in 20 wells. 19. Stand this time, Stand. Your strategies have
So, I guess this is another one which has a dreadful ending. Definitely the worst ending so far. With no meta crisis, no one can stop the Daleks. I'd assume Davros would keep the Doctor and his friends around, who would, eventually take control of the Crucible, but nothing could be done. Maybe they would find a way to restore the universe, but with no TARDIS to help with that, I'd say it's near impossible. And remember, no escaping to Pete's world, as every universe would have been destroyed. So there we have it. I'll keep doing your suggestions, so do keep them coming. Now, these what ifs won't be coming out on Saturdays anymore. They might do if I have a very special one planned, or that week decide let's do an extra what if. But for now, the what ifs will be kept to Tuesday only. But there still will be a video out every Saturday as well, so do keep an eye out for those. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye bye.
Planet Earth. This is where I was born. For the first 19 years of my life, nothing happened. Nothing at all. Not ever. And then I met a man called the Doctor.
Run!
A man who could change his face. And he took me away from home in his magical machine. He showed me the whole of time and space. I thought it would never end.
How long are you going to stay with me?
Forever.
Following Doomsday, Rose managed to hang on and stays with the Doctor for his travels. Meeting runaway bride Donna Noble, the trio work together to take down the Ragnos. Heading off into the stars, eventually the Doctor and Rose do, however, return to Earth, following electronic fluctuations at a London hospital. As Rose monitored on from the TARDIS, she runs out when the rain starts going up.
Oh, that's weird. It's raining right on top of you, I can see it, but it's dry where I am.
Well, you just got lucky.
No, but it's like in cartoons, you know, when a man's got a cloud over his head.
Yeah, but listen, I'll tell you what we'll do.
The rain?
It's only rain.
Martha, have you seen the rain?
Why is everyone fussing about rain? It's going up.
The rain is going up. Right.
I think so, yeah. It felt like an earthquake or...
Martha, it's night. But it was lunchtime.
It's not night.
It's got to be. It's dark.
We're on the moon.
Can't be.
We're on the moon. We're on the bloody moon.
Sorry, miss. No. It's just like all of you.
Martha, can you hear me? Martha!
Very good point. Brilliant, in fact. What was your name?
Martha?
And it was Jones, wasn't it? Well then, Martha Jones, question is, how are we still breathing?
Well, it can't be.
But obviously we are, so don't waste my time. Martha, what have we got? Is there a balcony on this floor or a veranda?
By the patient's lounge, yeah.
Jones going out?
Okay.
We might die.
We might not.
Good. Come on. Not her, she'd hold us up.
The events of Smith and Jones then carry out the same, and the Doctor offers Martha a single trip in the TARDIS, alongside, of course, Rose, in return for saving his life. Rose doesn't want this and doesn't like Martha, seeing her as a threat, especially after learning of the pair's kiss on the moon. The group then save the day in Shakespearean London, but with the Doctor not feeling so nostalgic for Rose, he never heads to New Earth, meaning the people in the motorway are never freed, and the Doctor isn't there for the death of the face of Bo. Taking Martha home the long way round, the group then take on the Daleks in Manhattan, forcing Martha and Rose to work together without the Doctor on multiple occasions. This is where the two start to become friends. Sticking around for the Lazarus experiment, with Rose and Martha now having faced peril together more than a few times, Rose sees Martha finally as a friend, and her and the Doctor ask her on board. All of the events in Series 3 then play out the same, until we get to the finale, where the Doctor sends Rose away instead. With Martha now not saving the world by herself and being given the confidence she didn't quite knew she had, she instead sticks with the Doctor and Rose, staying for the events of Voyage of the Damned and Partners in Crime, where the trio encountered Donna Noble. With Donna not being seen as a threat to Rose or Donna, she too is then welcomed aboard. All of Series 4 occurs the same, with the Doctor still being alone in midnight and so on, with the three women enjoying a day to themselves. However, in the finale, as the Earth is stolen, the TARDIS is now far busier, with Rose, the Doctor, and Martha, and Donna. With Martha on the TARDIS, the group on Earth now only being Sarah Jane, Harriet and Torchwood don't have the Doctor's number, and Jack doesn't have the teleport baseline. As the Daleks continue their massacre on Earth, they would eventually detonate the reality bomb, and as the wave of energy spreads far and wide across the multiverse, the TARDIS races ahead of the wave of energy, trying to outrun it as the group thinks desperately of a plan. When suddenly, out of nowhere, Jackie teleports on board the TARDIS with a dimension cannon, but she isn't alone, and with someone who is about to change everything. Yes, this is a special two-parter and a more love-themed special with the Doctor and Rose, so come back tomorrow for part 2 to see how the crew can somehow save the day and to find out who is with Jackie. Rose stands shocked. Mum? Yeah, but apparently not the only mother here. Meet my new best friend, or should I say, the mother of your boyfriend, Tectayun. As the TARDIS starts to crash and bang, as the wave of energy catches up with the family of time, Tectayun begins piloting the TARDIS alongside the 10th Doctor. The group watches in amazement and shock. Landing on Tectayun's ship, which exists outside of all time and space, on board the TARDIS, Tectayun explains herself to the Doctor, explaining who she really is and what has happened, and explaining how she's been watching over every reality. However, somehow timelines from this reality have begun to split. She has monitored what she can, but some, even for her, she can't cut off. She has seen countless timeline changes, a timeline where the Doctor dies on the planet Midnight, a timeline where his 9th and 10th selves bigenerate, a timeline where he uses the Delta Wave, and even a timeline where he eventually joins the Master. But more and more timelines lead to the detonation of the reality bomb, which is causing total multiversal event collapse. She tells him this timeline shifted simply because Rose held on. Jackie explains her universe was collapsing, and Pete sacrificed himself and their entire universe to send her somewhere. Something Pete called the blip, an energy existing outside of all reality, and that just so happened to be Tecteun's ship. Rose opens the TARDIS door looking out. She speaks confused and shocked. Doctor? Might want to see this. Everyone rushes out on the TARDIS onto Tecteun's ship, seeing variants of different people across several different timelines. The human doctor from Midnight, the 9th Doctor that used a delta wave, the bioregenerated 10th Doctor who stopped the Valyard, the 12th Doctor that stood with Missy, and Jack Harkness from where the 9th Doctor biogenerated. He too used the Crucible as the scanner and then found Tecteun. Tecteun shows a monitor. Many timelines still work, some stabilise themselves as close as they can, and others actually do return to normal, but more and more are leading to the reality bomb's detonation. Only with all these doctors and friends can they together stop what is causing these branches and save the multiverse. The cloister bell rings. Tecteun runs to a monitor in her lab and shows them 18 billion more timelines just had their reality bomb detonate. They are running out of time. Using modified dimension cannons, the group head off separated into the collapsing multiverse to try and locate the cause of why timelines keep splitting. Tecteun heads off with the evil 12th Doctor to a timeline where the Doctor stayed human. Donna, Martha, Rose and Ten head off to a universe where the Cybermen win the Battle of Canary Wharf. Jack and Nine, who used the Delta Wave, head to a universe where the Time Lords won the Time War, alongside the bioregenerated 10th Doctor. The human Doctor and Jackie then monitor Tecteun's ship for further timeline shifts. As the groups head out into the multiverse, they learn every single time a timeline relates back to the Doctor, but more specifically to a death of a Doctor. The Doctor died in Midnight, causing those events. The 9th Doctor died on Satellite 5, causing those events. The 11th Doctor technically dies and becomes the Valyard, leading to those events. The 12th Doctor dies, leading to the 13th Doctor becoming ruler of Gallifrey, leading to those events. The 9th Doctor dies by a Dalek, leading to those events, and the Meta-Crisis Doctor is never born, leading to those events. Eventually, the Doctor dies and the universe collapses, either via a reality bomb or something else at a later date. Returning back to the lab, the group asks Tecteun how events should have gone down. She explains to them how they should have happened. But something on the main timeline is leading to splits across everything, growing at an increasingly and dangerous rate. The base begins to shake and break apart. Martha fades from existence, as does Rose. Reality is falling apart and they are almost out of time. The Doctors put their heads together and frantically connect the TARDIS to Tecteun's ship and her timeline scanner. If they can correctly pair the two, they could predict the future of the timeline. Tecteun explains that at this point in the current timeline, she is actually in line with them, at what she calls the journey's end. So if the TARDIS can be used to predict the future of the main timeline for them, they could isolate what is causing this. Jack fades, and then Jackie. Donna feels her head burning, but why? With the power of all the Doctors present, they connect Donna's mind, stepping through like a door. She is the key. They see the timeline that should have been, and is and will be. Dalek Khan's prophecy, the Dr. Donna, this was and is his prophecy. Donna and the Doctor are the key. The Doctors break link with Donna in a flash as they see something. They are unsure what it is, but it's on a helipad with Melanie? The TARDIS and Tecteun's ship isolates the point, and we see on the monitor as the 14th Doctor's bi-generation occurs. That's the point. That's the cause. When the 14th Doctor bi-generated, caused every Doctor ever to die and be reborn in a new timeline where they bi-generated. This was enough to shatter the stability of time itself, and lead to countless other timelines changing that couldn't compensate themselves, leading to that universe collapsing. The ship then begins to collapse itself. If the 14th Doctor's bigeneration is meant to happen, that then wouldn't cause the total event collapse. Therefore, if the 14th Doctor didn't bioregenerate, then it would. So all they need to do is make sure that the 14th Doctor always bigenerates. Tecteun and the Doctors prune the what-if timelines where 14 doesn't bigenerate from existence, and suddenly, the ship begins to stabilize. They've done it. All they need to do is make sure that 14 always bigenerates. Tecteun explains some universes like 9's Delta Wave universe and 9's Bioregeneration universe will still end in catastrophic ways, but that must be allowed to happen naturally without interference. Time to put things back in place. Tecteun sends off the Doctors to their set timelines and vows to monitor the timelines for the rest of existence, making sure 14 always bigenerates. With the multiverse saved, the future, present and past of every reality is restored. But what will happen when in the main timeline, Tecteun has a slight change of heart, and Tecteun dies to the hands of Swarm and Azure? And there we have it, a special What If episode. I am Dalek. I have been running these What Ifs solo, but we, yes we, will be returning to your screens in 2 weeks with an actual team of people working on these, bringing you these What Ifs in an updated animated style while still also staying true to the style that exists. So folks, we will see you for the next set of What Ifs on the first Tuesday of March. Until then folks, enjoy, and remember, when watching Doctor Who, always ask the question, what if?
Martha, this watch is me. Those creatures are hunters. They can sniff out anyone. And me being a Time Lord, well, I'm unique.
That's why I've got to do it. I have to stop being a Time Lord. Then I become human. Now keep imagining that I'm someone else and that I'm hiding.
Hiding? Who is he? I'm sorry? It's like he knows he has something to get back to, but he can't remember what.
This is splashing now. This will do it.
Strange.
If anything goes wrong, if they find us, Martha, then you know what to do.
Hello?
Open the watch.
Don't.
Everything I am is kept safe in there. It's all down to you, Martha. Your choice.
The TARDIS lands at the end of the universe, with Martha, now the Doctor, however not being able to regenerate. She exits the TARDIS, meeting an old friend, Captain Jack Harkness. As the pair walk along the edge of existence, Martha explains what happened, and Jack jokes about liking this new body. With the episode playing out the same, Professor Yana opens his fob watch and heads for modern day Earth.
Oh, new voice. Hello. 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 Anyway, why don't we stop and have a nice little chat while I tell you all my plans and you can work out a way to stop me? I don't think. I can't hold much longer, Doctor! No, you don't!
With Jack and Martha, who is the Doctor, making a narrow escape using the Vortex Manipulator. With the Master no longer having the Doctor's genetic code, his plans are thrown a little, but as Trish runs to Martha, the Master sonics Martha, stunning her to the ground. As the chaos ensues and the Toclafane descend, Martha looks to Jack with a nod of approval, and he makes his escape. On Earth, as the Toclafane descend, Jack reunites with Torchwood. Together, the team manage to survive the apocalypse and begin uniting an army, collaborating with Harriet Jones, Sarah Jane Smith, and even the Brigadier. But as time closes in and no course of action is in place, the Paradox Machine activates, and the Master has won. But as the Master launches out into the universe on his attack, the Resistance on Earth continues to survive in secret. Their base in an underground tube tunnel filled with old unit and Torchwood tech, with Mr. Smith operating alongside the Torchwood Matrix. Thanks to the modified Torchwood technology, the group are able to view as timelines collapse around them. Something is coming. The timelines, universes, and even the stars are going out. Months later, the Master returns to Earth, and that's when it happens. The Valiant shakes like crazy, the day's sky turns to night, and the stars change to planets. And then they arrive. Then the Daleks attack.
Maximum extermination! Sonic device will not override my weapons. Daleks are the masters of Earth.
You can't do this! You can't do this!
With both Time Lords being the Master and Martha now on board the Crucible, they are brought before Davros. With the Daleks slowing down their plans, opting to investigate the Paradox Machine, the Master and Martha are left alone in a holding cell. Alone, the pair talk. They can't win this. They won't win this. Not alone. Using a homing device, two Toclafane teleport into the holding cell, delivering the Master's laser screwdriver. The Master and Martha then make an escape from the cells. As they sneak around the Crucible, they learn the Daleks have transported the Paradox Machine on board and plan to synchronize it with the reality bomb. As they sneak around, this is where the Master tricked Martha, locking her into a room. If the Master can get to the Paradox Machine when it's wired up, he can use the reality bomb to wage war against the multiverse. Forget one universe, he can rule them all. Managing to get on board, he enters and begins tampering with the Paradox machine, altering its controls so upon detonation of the reality bomb, he will open a tear to every single reality and his toclophane can dominate all. As Martha attempts to escape the room, she hears a noise. A Dalek passes the door and looks at her, noticing she has escaped, uttering its famous line but being obliterated before it could finish. The door too blows off and Martha covers her eyes from the blast. She looks down, seeing two sets of legs enter the room, Captain Jack Harkness and Gwen Cooper. As the three briefly catch up, Martha explains the Master's plan. If they tell the Daleks, they will stop the Master and win anyway. If they don't, then the Master wins. They can't win, but maybe they can. Jack shows the Doctor the data they collected from the Mr. Smith tortured matrix, showing where the reality started to collapse around them. But then they revealed something. There was a split. Way before the Master or the Daleks, there was a split on the timeline. A timeline where John Smith was meant to open the watch. The only way to save all reality is to have Martha die, and this reality ceases to exist. The three hatch a plan. Gwen can cause a distraction which will result in her extermination, but if all goes well, then this reality will have ceased to ever existed. Jack and Martha will then board the Paradox machine and take control, stopping the Master, setting a date and time to when John Smith should have opened the watch. The Paradox machine will activate and dematerialize to the original timeline. This will then cause the branch timeline to collapse. They begin the plan, and the reality bomb activates.
Supreme Dalek, the time has come. Now, detonate the reality bomb! Activate planetary alignment field! Universal reality detonation in 200 wells. Nothing can stop the detonation! Nothing! No one!
Powering up the Paradox TARDIS as it dematerializes, the branch timeline ceases to exist, and the TARDIS eventually lands in the original timeline, just a short while before Martha absorbs the Doctor's essence. With the Master locked inside a deactivated Paradox machine, Jack leaves Martha alone, as he prepares to convince the original Martha to force John Smith to open the watch. Jack reaches Martha in the original timeline and tells her that John Smith must open the watch, otherwise all of reality is at stake. As we know, of course, from the original timeline, she does convince him to open the watch, and while the 10th Doctor stops the family of blood, Jack retcons Martha of his existence, allowing the timeline we know to play out as normal.
Very good point. Brilliant, in fact. What was your name?
Martha?
And it was Jones, wasn't it? Well then, Martha Jones.
Jadoon. I'm not just a Time Lord. I'm the last of the Time Lords.
You're so sentimental, Doctor. Maybe you are older than you look. I'm old enough to know that a longer life isn't always a better one.
What did he say? Don't blink. Don't even blink. Blink and you're dead.
Falling in love? That didn't even occur to him.
No.
Then what sort of man is that? Master.
Jack and the Doctor Martha fades, as does the Paradox machine and the Master. Series 3 then continues as it should have, and all of reality is saved and restored to how it should be. Or is it? Because what happens when the 10th Doctor meets Professor Yana, who says he remembers everything?
The green one? And the not green one. Or it could be the other way around. I mustn't prejudge. Oh, you remember her? Thingy. The not me one.
As the TARDIS lands in Victorian London, out steps Clara alongside Doctors 11 and 12. Catching up with the Paternoster gang, the trio help save the day. The 12th Doctor heads off in his TARDIS confused and stressed, with Clara usually dependent on him. Once he cleared his head, he eventually returned to her. But this time, it's a different story.
Hello, this is the Doctor speaking. Hello, also the Doctor. Can you hear me? Also the Doctor. Standing ready.
We're going to freeze Gallifrey.
I'm sorry. What?
Using our TARDISes, we're going to freeze Gallifrey in a single moment in time.
Warning the War Council of Gallifrey. This is the Doctor.
You might say I've been doing this all my life.
Good luck.
Stand by.
Ready. Commencing calculations. Over there.
That's the boundaries that divide one universe from another.
Got to lock onto his coordinates. And for my next trick, I didn't know when I was well off. All 12 of them. No, sir. Ah! All 13!
The Doctor arrives at Gallifrey, helping to save the day alongside his counterparts, and then heads off into the universe, leaving the 11th Doctor and Clara in the past, hoping to just push his memory behind him and not think about it. Materializing in the middle of a Dalek war, the 12th Doctor saves Soldier Blue. Staying with her through the events of Into the Dalek, the 12th Doctor opts to work with Blue to blow up the Dalek. But fearful of the Dalek antibodies, he instead helps save the Dalek, much to his annoyance, and leaves for the stars after saving Rusty. However, the Doctor doesn't leave alone, and is joined by Blue. Back in Victorian London, the Doctor continues tinkering with alien tech in an attempt to build some kind of time machine, taking them to the modern day, where he will have far more options and allies in the form of UNIT. However, when Madame Vastra gets a call, everything's about to change for the Doctor and Clara. Back with the 12th Doctor, he ventures to the near future with Blue, heading for the moon, which the pair together agree to disintegrate. Then they board the Orient Express and once again kill the mummy, escaping the train together with maximum casualties except themselves. With Blue saving the day in Flatline, albeit much more explosively, the 12th Doctor and Blue continue traveling the stars, saving the day, but with more violence than usual. In Victorian London, Vastra reveals to the Doctor she just had a call from a Mr. Harkness from the Torchwood Institute. While they can't yet meet, a simple memory worm, which the Paternoster gang still had at hand, could fix the issue of Jack remembering 11. With Clara and the 11th Doctor heading off by horse and cart to Victorian Cardiff, they encounter Jack Harkness, with the 11th Doctor giving away as little as possible, and Jack flirting as much as he can with Clara. As 11 repairs the Vortex Manipulator, the three head off into the future, and mistakenly arrive in the land of Robin Hood. The three help save the day, and then eventually actually make it to the modern day. Finding trees all over London, the three quickly aim to save the day, retconning Jack and sending him back to his own time. The Doctor and Clara head over to the Tower of London, meeting with Kay Stewart and Osgood. They explained what's happened, and UNIT agrees to help and work with the Doctor. Investigating mysteries around 3W, the Doctor eventually enters the facility alongside Clara, as the 11th Doctor meets Missy and the Cybermen reveal themselves. The Series 8 finale continues closely, but with 11 and Clara against Missy, with the included absence of Danny Pink. Stopping Missy, but explaining to her what's happened, she is shot by a rogue Cyberman and teleports away. With Missy being sent the confession dial, she returns to Earth. Returning to the 11th Doctor, he explains to both Missy and Clara he didn't send it. Knowing it must have been 12's, they track down the 12th Doctor and travel in Missy's TARDIS to a rocky world on the edge of a broken solar system, as Davros's agent tracks down the 12th Doctor. For the first time, the 11th Doctor, 12, and Clara reunite, but before any talking can occur, Missy, Clara, Blue, 11, and 12 are taken prisoner to Skaro. With the two doctors being taken to the creator of the Daleks, Missy, Blue, and Clara manage to escape the holding room. The episode plays out more or less the same, except Missy manages to save herself and Clara from the Daleks' extermination, but not Blue. The episode then plays out the same, except the 12th Doctor takes a sudden dark turn when he learns of the actual death of Blue. 12 blames Missy, 11, and Clara, taking his TARDIS in the chaos and running off once again, now fueled with anger. 11, Clara, and Missy head off in her TARDIS to track him down, as events play out just in different manners and orders. Eventually, the 12th Doctor gets a call with the message, Nightmare Scenario. With Clara also getting the text, everyone heads to Earth. Doctors meet again, and the two meet at blows, with one pushing the army generals to kill the Zygons and find Osgood by force, and the other aiming for a more peaceful resolution. Nevertheless, the peace treaty holds, and the 12th Doctor fails in killing the Zygons. We finally get a moment where 11 and 12 talk with each other. Recognizing why 12 ran, 11 forgives him, but asks for them to travel together, explaining the rarity of this regeneration event. The 12th Doctor then agrees and joins 11, but by this time, Missy has become considerably more caring as she is in late Series 10. So in two separate TARDISes, the 11th, 12th Doctor, Missy, and Clara head off on a joint and separated adventures through time and space. Returning to Gallifrey briefly, meeting River Song, and taking on the monks, eventually the group arrives on the space station reversing out of a black hole. As events move on just faster paced, the three Time Lords eventually arrive on the lower levels, meeting a converted Clara Oswald and the Saxon Master. With Missy being in two minds, she splits back and forth between good and bad. But eventually the day is saved, and 11, 12, and Missy all make it out alive, but without Clara. The three eventually return to Gallifrey, where they uncover the secret of the Timeless Child, together, and the three learn the truth much faster with Gallifrey remaining in one piece, and stop being the lone Cyberman. Altogether they take on the Flux, and eventually meet the Toymaker. The Toymaker fires upon the 11th Doctor, who then actually dies and ceases to exist, leaving 12 and Missy by themselves, as the two Time Lords, now both feeling slightly lost with one thing keeping them together, who knows what might happen next. Was a bit of a nicer ending. Things changed, but not too much. I'm sure at some point, Force will come back to use this one. And hey, maybe I'll voice that edition too. Thanks for watching, everyone. Okay. Evil 12th Doctor be like, Clara, we destroyed the egg moon. No. He's like, Clara, am I a bad man? I'm very bad. Ooh, I'm a bad man, Clara.
You don't need to own the universe, just see it. Have the privilege of seeing the whole of time and space. That's ownership enough.
the Titanic crashes into the TARDIS, the integral structure of the box is temporarily damaged. Little does the Doctor know, deep within the coral core of his ghost monument, his ultimate rival, his ultimate friend, has been unintentionally released. As the HADs kick in and the TARDIS heads for Earth, the Doctor makes his way through the famous ship. Meanwhile, in the TARDIS, the Master makes his way to the console room, visiting several old console rooms along the way. As the Master enters the TARDIS, he pushes his hands onto the console, feeling the energy of the TARDIS, but knowing it's locked against him. Isomorphic controls, but he can't let this opportunity fail him. Perhaps, through using remnants of the chameleon arc and the Doctor's hand, maybe, just maybe, for a small amount of time, he could trick the TARDIS. As the Doctor faces death after death, the Master finishes his device. Activating it, the TARDIS flutters. Slowly, the Master reaches his hand for the dematerialization lever. He pulls it and waits. It didn't work. He screams and throws the device, but when suddenly, the time rotor slowly begins to move. The engine roars and the Master claps and jumps in excitement. The TARDIS begins to materialize, running around the console. He dials in the digits and heads for the stars. Returning to the Earth, the Doctor realizes what's happened after checking for temporal energy with the TARDIS. Stranded on Earth, the Doctor heads to Cardiff. Arriving at the Torchwood Institute, he reunites with Jack and is introduced to Gwen, Owen and Yanto. We also then get a realization moment where the Doctor reunites with Toshiko. He realizes that all this time, it was her who was helping him with the space pig. As the months roll by, the Doctor and Jack work tirelessly to try and track the Master and bring the TARDIS back. But as alien incursions get in the way, the gang work together to fight off the dangers brought in from the rift. With the new weight loss company Adipose Industries looking rather suspicious, however, the Doctor heads to the office alongside Owen. His medical knowledge will come in handy after all.
Good morning, Adipose Industries.
Donna Noble, Health and Safety.
John Smith, Health and Safety.
Good morning, I represent Adipose Industries.
Good morning, I represent Adipose Industries. Good morning, I represent Adipose Industries. Good morning, I represent Adipose Industries. Good morning, I represent Adipose Industries.
Good morning, I represent Adipose Industries. That's a 3-week course of pills with a special price of £45.
Mr. Harper?
Yeah.
We deliver within 3 working days, registered post.
Safety, don't mind me.
Box comes with 21 days worth of pills, a full information pack, and our special free gift, an Adipose Industries pendant.
It's made of 18 karat gold and it's yours for free.
We're in. This will give us everything on his hard drive, including encrypted files. I can establish a routing protocol, and if he does on this computer from now on, we'll know about it.
I'll just need to keep this for testing, and I just need a list of your customers. Could you print it off?
I suppose so.
Where's the printer?
Just over there by the plant.
Which plant? That plant?
Yeah, that's the one.
Lovely.
That's the printer there.
By the plant, yeah.
Brilliant.
Does it need a code? Last place I worked, printer needed a code.
No, I can do it from there.
Has he got paper?
Yeah, Jimbo keeps it stocked.
Excuse me, everyone. If I could have your attention.
Owen?
You're clear. On average, you're each selling 40 adipose packs per day. It's not enough. I want 100 sales per person per day. And if not, you'll be replaced. As if anyone's good at trimming the fat, it's me. Now, back to it.
As the two infiltrate Adipose Industries, eventually the Doctor also reunites with Donna Noble. The trio then escape the building and save the day, with the Doctor catching Donna up, coming back to Cardiff. Even if she can't travel the stars, she is not about to let this man slip her fingers once more. Back at the hub, the rift picks up a spike as time begins to change. Something is wrong with Pompeii. Using the Doctor's Time Lord's foresight, they learn that aliens are invading the Earth from the past. Using the rift, which can be used far more accurately now thanks to the Doctor and Donna head off into the past. However, as they attempt to save the day, they find themselves causing the very explosion which killed thousands.
Welcome to Parabala made of rock. Maybe they can't be blown up. Soon as explode with a plot of 24 nuclear bombs. Nothing can survive there. Certainly not us.
Never mind us.
Push this lever and it's over. 20,000 people.
With the Torchwood technology compromised as the pair crash back down in front of the volcano, find themselves trapped in Pompeii. As ash and flames fill the room, eventually the room begins to shake, but not from the volcano. Saving the family, the Doctor and Donna are left alone in the TARDIS with the Master. The Doctor notices a change in him. He doesn't say anything, just slips a little device onto one of the pillars, allowing them to track the TARDIS if the Master runs again. The Master speaks. I just couldn't. Then the Doctor replies. How long? How long's it been? The Master replies, telling him it's only been an hour. Only an hour had passed for the Master since the Titanic. As the Master sits on the TARDIS chair, the Doctor takes the TARDIS back to Torchwood. Jack reunites with the Master temporarily, and the Doctor asks Jack to take Donna home. She doesn't want to, but he promises he'll be back for her. The TARDIS takes off and Donna returns home, and the Doctor and the Master are left to talk alone. The Master explains how he had so many ideas, so many plans to kill, to butcher, and to rule, but he couldn't. He went to Mondas, Telos, several Earth-like planets with weak-minded humans, but no, he couldn't do it. Each time, he couldn't even bring himself to open the TARDIS doors. So he went to Skaro. Opening the doors and looking out at the charred and bared land, he saw what had happened in the final days of the Time War. If this was Skaro, imagine Gallifrey. Everyone he knew. So he counted. He counted every child that would have been butchered on Gallifrey that day, and now he can't. Now the fun's gone. How can he do anything even remotely similar now? Now he's seen... The Master jokes about being put back in his cell. The Doctor takes a hard look, evidently thinking deeply. He reaches into his jacket pocket, taking out a TARDIS key and handing it to the Master. The Master looks up, shocked and confused, sad yet happy. The Doctor and the Master are in the TARDIS when suddenly the phone rings and Martha calls. The Doctor exits the TARDIS hugging Martha, but when Martha looks behind the Doctor, she sees the Master. A very bitter moment is shared, the Master looking guilty yet still slightly proud at his past work. However, keeping professional, Martha takes the Doctor and the Master through the building. The episode plays out the same and the Doctor heads to Donna's house at the climax of part 1. The only major change here is where the Master offers himself to go up instead of the Doctor, but he is saved by Luke Rattigan, which the Doctor heavily tried to stop but ultimately failed. The Master, the Doctor, Donna and Martha then had the Doctor's daughter take place, except this time Jenny came from the Master's DNA. He too pulled a gun as the Doctor once would have, but he also didn't pull the trigger, proving himself properly to the Doctor, Donna and even Martha. Taking Martha home, the two Time Lords and Donna head off into the universe, with each story taking place in the same, just with minor differences. The Master stayed relaxing with Donna in Midnight, and Turn Left obviously happened the same. However, this time, as the Earth was stolen, there were now two Time Lords trapped in the TARDIS with Donna. The stolen Earth occurred identically the same, well, nearly. As the Doctor ran to Rose, the Master spotted the Dalek and used his legs as a screwdriver to disrupt its eye stalk, meaning it missed its fire, shooting no one. As Jack materialized, Jack, Donna, Rose, the Doctor and the Master entered the TARDIS, which was then taken on board the Crucible by the Daleks. As the Master waited inside, composing himself, after all it was the Daleks that gave him this change of self, meaning his anger was now at an ultimate high. He doesn't know what he might do, but by delaying meeting the Supreme, the Daleks dump the TARDIS into the heart of the Crucible. Naturally, the Master does what the Meta-Crisis Doctor does and saves the TARDIS. Heading back to save the day, the episode continues as normal, again with some minor changes. The specials then occur, but with the Doctor, Donna, Rose and the Master all being one big TARDIS team, arriving in the events of the end of time. Through different means, Rassilon manages to bring back Gallifrey, with the Master and the Doctor teaming up to stop them. The bridge is broken, but with Rose and Donna in the radiation cages, the pair knock 4 times, and destiny is set. The Master and the Doctor both have to sacrifice their lives.
Live too long.
Screaming and shouting in anger, the two Time Lords hug and give each other a nod. Both know they will have to regenerate, both know they will now die, but they will have each other and they will be together. Saving Rose and Donna, the Doctor heads on his farewell tour, dropping off Rose and Donna at unit, saying he will be back for them, but he needs to do this alone. Well, with the Master. Respecting their wishes, the group splits and the Doctor and the Master head off into the TARDIS. One final goodbye and good luck. Together, the pair regenerate.
This is false, Dalek. And now, what if?
This is crazy!
Yeah, it is.
Stop that, TARDIS!
What the hell?
By generation.
In every universe, there are hundreds of timelines, each occurring slightly differently from the next. In your timeline, the Doctor ciphered his remaining regeneration energy into his severed hand, yet here he bi-generated. Far and wide across the timelines, beings like myself exist out of time, able to watch on, witness and ponder the biggest question of all. What if? And obviously the second biggest question, Doctor Who? Even I don't know that one. Not every timeline, however, ends as nicely as the next, but one timeline has the darkest ending of them all.
Doctor?
Jack. Rose walks up to the Doctor, sad, worried, even a little angry, but most of all wary.
You're still you.
Well, you know how this works better than anyone.
Rose and the Doctor share a smile, when suddenly...
Temporal prison initiated. Reports suggest the Doctor has regenerated. Transferring TARDIS to the Crucible.
Show yourself, Doctor. Exit the TARDIS and face your Dalek masters.
Well then, no point standing around. Go on.
The 11th Doctor sprints out the TARDIS, with Donna chasing right after him closely behind. Before Rose makes a move for the door, however, Jack grabs her arm.
Is this a good idea?
What choice do we have?
He's right. You know what dealing with the new regeneration is like better than anyone. If his first formative hours are spent at war against the Daleks, what could that turn him into? Doctor, the doors are stuck!
The Doctor tries to open the door, but nothing works.
What is this?
Your newly regenerated body is as uneducated as your last. This is not of Dalek origin.
Doctor, what's going on? We're stuck.
Doctor, we can't get out! My teleport went down with the power drain!
I'm asking you nicely. Please, just stop. Let them out.
This is Time Lord treachery.
This wasn't me!
Nevertheless, the TARDIS is a weapon, and it will be destroyed.
As the TARDIS is torn apart, Jack moves to grab a hold of Rose, steadying her, reminding her what she did the last time she lost control of the TARDIS. The time she looked into its heart.
But I can't do that again. It nearly killed me. And it killed him.
There's something you don't know about me, Rose. Something I'm yet to thank you for.
What do you mean?
I'm immortal. Who knows, maybe doing this will actually fix it.
Rose stands back and covers her eyes. Jack shoots at the panel, and the heart of the TARDIS opens. He looks into it, and it looks into him. Time itself under his control, bendable to his will. Him and the TARDIS link, and just in time, it dematerializes away to safety.
Tell me, Doctor, how does it feel?
The 11th Doctor simply looks at the scanner with tears swelling in his eyes. Donna reaches for his hand, but he snaps it away in anger. He turns to the Supreme Dalek, raging like never before.
Take them to Davros. I obey.
So, the rumors are true. You do have a new face. The spectacle of it. Killed by a single, simple Dalek. How did it feel?
Donna goes off at Davros as she often does, calling him One-Eyed John and telling him to button it, because he's not dead yet.
Now listen, Mussolini! I am telling you, for the last time, to button it!
She then turns to the Doctor, in a completely opposite calm and caring tone, asking if he's alright. The pair are then questioned by Davros and the Vault for some time, later joined by Sarah Jane, Martha, Jackie, and even Mickey.
Last time I did this, we went back to the last place the TARDIS landed.
Well, where was it before Earth?
How should I know?
As the reality bomb test concludes, Davros prepares for his ultimate victory, the detonation and death of reality itself.
This is my final victory, Doctor. I have shown you yourself, and the final prophecy is in place. The Doctor and his children of time, all gathered, all witnesses. Supreme Dalek, the time has come. Now detonate the reality bomb!
Activate planetary alignment field.
I won't let you do this, Davros, I won't!
And what will you do then, Doctor? See this? This is my ultimate victory! The end of the universe! It's...
Having a bit of trouble, are we?
What is happening? What have you done?
Alert! Power override detected!
Fluctuating. Alert! Support data
Shift occurring!
Davros, explain.
Alert! Spatial proximity warning!
Show us the screens, now!
One extra.
Impossible.
This Torchwood calling the Daleks. Are you receiving me?
With the TARDIS taking Jack and Rose back to the Shadow Proclamation, they pitched a plan to save the universe. With the reality bomb's engine needing 27 planets, and only 27, the Earth thought what would happen if that became 26, but what if that became 28 instead?
A power overdrive. It couldn't compute another planet.
Using the TARDIS to pull it through time just like the Daleks did with the Crucible, but not just any planet. The planet of the Daleks, Skaro. A plan like no other. With an army under the Doctor's control at the hands of the Shadow Proclamation, between them, the Earth and his friends, now they stood a fighting chance.
Lock down the Crucible!
The TARDIS has reached the Crucible. Imitate, planetary swap.
With the TARDIS being boosted by the Shadow Proclamation, they were able to pull a planet through time. So now, with the TARDIS on the Crucible, they could pull that out. Donna, along with everyone else, is rightfully confused.
Skaro is time-locked, locked away, out of time, but they took it out. If we swapped Skaro with the Crucible,
we'd be stuck, locked out of time.
Geronimo.
Now!
Jack pulls a lever in the TARDIS and it activates, locking to the Crucible. As the TARDIS dematerializes, it takes the Crucible with it. As the Crucible fades away, the remaining planets begin to blip back to where they belong. The holding cells fail, and the Doctor and friends make a run for the TARDIS on the lower levels. Running through flames and Daleks, eventually they get to the blue box. However, before Jack can yank the return lever, the Doctor stops him. He begins moving around the console, flicking switches and pulling levers. The lights turn to a red, and he looks at the Crucible on the scanner.
I asked you to stop. You showed me who I really am. You turned me into this. You should have listened.
He presses a singular button.
was genocide.
Good.
Tricky situation, Doctor. Potentially very dangerous. Think I'm going to need you.
That was part 1 of Doctor Who. Part 2 will be out in exactly 2 weeks' time, so be sure to keep an eye out and see what happens next in our story. Leave suggestions in the Discord, which is linked below, and also find out other information on our Patreons and much more linked below as well. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.
Now on Force Dalek, what if...
No point standing around. Go on.
Reports suggest the Doctor has regenerated. The TARDIS is a weapon, and it will be destroyed.
Last time I did this, we went back to the last place the TARDIS landed.
Power overdrive.
His first formative hours are spent at war against the Daleks. What could that turn him into? Doctor, that was genocide.
Good.
As the Doctor drops everyone home and back to their original universes, he stays in the TARDIS with Donna and of course Rose, who in this timeline has no reason to leave. Over the course of several months, the group find themselves going up against the Cybermen in Victorian London, fighting the race against the time on a desert planet with Lady Christina, and even the Trickster with Sarah Jane. However, following each encounter and event, the Doctor continues down his darker path. But what sends him over the edge lies at the end of time itself. Donna is in the radiation cage.
Oh, Donna, sweetheart, what have you done?
So, this is what I get, is it?
This is my reward.
I'm sure there's a way.
Yes, Rose, there is. I step inside that cage to let her out, and end up dead.
Well then, let me go instead.
Everyone pauses, and Donna proclaims no.
Donna, sweetheart, we don't have a choice. You heard the Doctor.
She tries to convince her granddad, telling him she won't let him die for her. She begs the Doctor to tell him.
Doctor, please. I won't be dying for you. I'll be dying for him.
You take my place.
I've seen what you can do, Doctor. I mean, look at me, I'm old. You can't die. You've got all that stuff out there to do. All those people and planets to save.
Except, how could I?
What do you mean?
If I let you do this, I mean take my place, die for me, how could I go on as the Doctor?
Look, we haven't got time for this. I'm going in.
No, no, please, please, no, no!
Donna begs him to stop, begging both her granddad to stop what he's doing and for the doctor to make him stop.
Make me proud, darling.
Wilf opens the door, Donna's door opens and she steps out as he sinks to the floor, drowning in the radiation that's killing him. Donna sobs and screams beyond relief. Rose tries to console her, and the Lord of Time watches over from afar. Rose turns to him.
Who are you?
The doctor, with a blank, dead look on his face, turns around and simply walks away. The Doctor is the Doctor no more, instead now taking up the mantle of the Valeyard. He heads for the stars, still aiming to help those in need, but this time with far more violent methods. First he kills the Atraxi, and then he boards Starship UK, where the Valeyard aims to free the Star Whale, risking the life of every human on board. However, with the Star Whale pitying the last of the human race, it stays with the ship and everyone survives their encounter with the Time Lord.
Who is this?
Tricky situation, Doctor. Potentially very dangerous. Think I'm going to need you.
The Doctor has escaped Davros's capture and is leading the Crucible through the vortex. We are being ripped out of time. But we will be stranded. We will be no more. Now. No. We must move quickly. Follow. Prepare ejection doors, seal the room. You will explain. Dalek Khan foretold of the Doctor's victory. The Supreme was arrogant, but myself and others prepared. Prepared how? This device contains a progenitor with pure Dalek DNA. With this, the Daleks can begin again. This room is not recorded in my databanks. It was built by our superiors for a secured escape of the Dalek Supreme. We can eject out of the Crucible. Correct. And ejecting now would mean ejecting into the vortex? Our destination will be unknown. The vortex is unpredictable. Yet we always survive. Will you help save the Daleks? Detaching in 3, 2, 1. The Doctor has arrived. What is the status of the ship's repairs? The ship we located will be sufficient. I have successfully refortified the Roswell craft with our remaining Dalek technology. Is the machine functional? We will see. Collect the Doctor's testimony and return to base.
What are you doing in here? Come on, come on. Someone wants to see you.
I was preparing some tea.
Yes, well, Winston says he needs to show you off. Our new secret weapon.
As the Valyard encounters the Dalek, rage fills him like never before. Still mistakenly giving the Daleks their testimony, he races to the ship aiming to exterminate the Daleks aboard before they can create their new Dalek paradigm. However, he is too late.
Initiate temporal dissonance. Now the TARDIS cannot materialize and the Doctor will not interfere. The Valyard. Will the Valyard's testimony be acceptable? We anticipated the testimony of the Doctor.
The Daleks trick the Doctor once again, making him pick between the human race, or finally stopping them. In the original timeline, the Doctor pricks the save Bracewell, and he will here too. Even though now going by the Valyard, he is still deep down the Doctor, and only in his very early days is the Veil. So he picks the save Bracewell on the humans, letting the Daleks escape once more to begin again. The rest of the series then continues on. Wanting to keep a track of his adventures, he still heads to the museum and encounters River Song. With his anger and abrasiveness fueling him, this Doctor is too late when reaching the bridge of the ship, meaning the only way to stop the Angels is to throw a space-time event into the crack. And due to Amy and Rory never meeting the Doctor in this timeline, River is a paradox, and an even bigger space-time event than the Doctor, meaning she's the one who sacrifices herself. With the Doctor knowing he is to blame, with River briefly explaining this isn't how it was supposed to be, the anger inside him grows even more, and burns into a roaring rage. Now a fully fledged Valyard, he pledges to himself.
Never again. Never again shall anyone important die! Especially not me.
Returning to his TARDIS, knowing that he only has one regeneration left, he knows he needs more. He wants more. But with the Sisterhood of Khan out of reach, not even wanting to help him, he heads out to the universe on a crusade to increase his regeneration rates. During his crusade, he encounters vampires in Venice, where he commits genocide for a second time, killing them all. He encounters the Silurians in the year 2020 and kills all of them too, and even encounters Vincent van Gogh. However, with his efforts proving futile, he knows there is only one place where he can ever be granted more regenerations: Gallifrey. This is where the Doctor changes course once again, looking for a way to break the time lock and return home for more regenerations. However, this would mean restarting the Time War and unleashing hell across the universe, something even the villains of old were against.
You have all been summoned. But why? The Doctor.
Our intelligence suggests the Doctor no longer exists, now going by the name of Valeyard.
The Doctor has destroyed 7,000 cyber worlds, even causing billions of human casualties. And he must be stopped.
My research suggests that the Valeyard is aiming to break the time lock of the Time War.
This must not be allowed to happen. Precisely. Which is why you have all been summoned. The Valeyard must be scanned, assessed, and understood.
Together, we can stop him and save the universe.
These Ions are in the agreement.
As are the Jedi.
We agree.
The Cybermen are in agreement.
You are going to regret this. I am going to kill every last one of you.
No, Doctor.
That is not my name.
This time we will save the universe.
From what?
From you. You will not be allowed to open the time lock.
Listen, wait, no. Just stop this.
You will be prevented.
Just listen to me. The cracks in time aren't caused by the time lock. That's something else. Just listen to me. If whatever's trying to do something to the TARDIS succeeds, it will mean a total event collapse. Every sun will supernova. Never mind a time war, you won't even have a universe. No, please listen to me. If someone's done something to the TARDIS, I'm the only one that can stop it. Please, listen to me. Listen to me!